We've reached a monumental milestone. Folks, this is the 20th episode of Proofless. I'm your host, Anna Berger, and I am truly overwhelmed by the incredible support you, our listeners, have shown us. Your heartfelt emails, your thought-provoking theories on social media, and the passionate discussions on our website are the heartbeat of this podcast. You inspire us to keep digging into the mysteries that haunt families, challenge investigators, and demand answers, pushing us to give voice to those who've been silenced and to keep the pursuit of truth alive. Thank you for being part of this journey as we explore cases that grip the heart and defy closure. Today, we're delving into a case that shook a small Minnesota town, reshaped national policy, and left a nation grappling with the loss of innocence. The 1989 disappearance of Jacob Wetterling, an 11-year-old boy abducted at gunpoint while biking home with friends, sparking a decades-long search that ended in a confession but left lingering questions. This is a story of a joyful child, a night that shattered a community, and a family's relentless fight for answers. So, settle in for a deep dive into a case that remains proofless due to gaps in the truth and the shadow of unresolved details. Let's set the scene. It's October 1989 in St. Joseph, Minnesota, a quiet, rural town of about 3,000 people, 70 miles northwest of Minneapolis. St. Joseph is the epitome of small-town America. Tree-lined streets, family farms, and a close-knit community where neighbors know each other and kids play freely in yards and parks. The town revolves around St. John's University, a Benedictine college, and its residents take pride in their safe, family-friendly environment. Jacob Irwin Wetterling is an 11-year-old sixth grader at St. Joseph's Middle School, a bright, energetic boy with a contagious smile. Born on February 17, 1978 to Jerry and Patty Wetterling, Jacob is the second of 4 children with an older sister, Amy, and younger siblings, Trevor and Carmen. With his brown hair, hazel eyes, and infectious enthusiasm, Jacob is a typical kid, passionate about hockey, biking, and playing with his dog, Casey. He's known for his kindness, often helping younger kids at school, and his love of adventure, whether fishing with his dad or building forts with his brother, Trevor. The Wetterlings are a pillar of St. Joseph. Jerry, a chiropractor, runs a clinic in town, while Patty, a substitute teacher, is active in community events, volunteering at church and coaching Jacob's soccer team. Their home, a 2-story house on Kiwi Court, is a hub of activity, filled with laughter, board games, and neighborhood kids. Jacob, at 5 feet 0 inches and 75 pounds, is thriving in 6th grade, excelling in math, and dreaming of becoming a professional hockey player. On October 22, 1989, a crisp Sunday evening, Jacob, his brother Trevor, age 10, and their best friend Aaron Larson, age 11, are hanging out at the Wetterling home. Patty and Jerry are at a friend's house for a dinner party, leaving the kids with a babysitter, Rochelle, who's watching 8-year-old Carmen. Around 8 p.m., the boys ask to bike to the Tom Thumb convenience store a mile away to rent a video, The Naked Gun, and grab snacks. Rochelle, hesitant, calls Patty, who agrees but insists the boys take a flashlight and stay together, given the dark, rural roads. At 8:45 p.m., Jacob, Trevor, and Aaron ride their bikes down 16th Avenue, a quiet, unlit stretch flanked by cornfields and woods. Jacob wears a reflective orange vest, Trevor's on a bike, and Aaron rides a scooter. They reach the Tom Thumb, rent the video, buy candy, and head back around 9 p.m. About halfway home, near a driveway at 91st Avenue, a man steps from the shadows, wearing a black ski mask and holding a handgun. He orders the boys to lie face down in a ditch. The man, later described as stocky, about 5 feet 8 inches, with a gravelly voice, asks their ages. He tells Trevor and Aaron to run into the woods and not look back, threatening to shoot if they do. The boys flee, hearing Jacob say, "What did I do wrong?" When Trevor and Aaron glance back, Jacob and the man are gone. They race home, tell Rochelle, who calls 911 at 9:15 p.m. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office responds within minutes, and Patty and Jerry rush home, arriving by 9:30 p.m. The sheriff's office, led by Sheriff Charlie Graft, launches an immediate search. Deputies scour 16th Avenue, finding Jacob's bike, Trevor's bike, and Aaron's scooter in the ditch, along with a single footprint in the gravel, later matched to a size 11 men's shoe. Cadaver dogs, volunteers, and National Guard units comb the surrounding fields, woods, and the nearby Sauk River, but find no trace of Jacob. The Wetterlings, devastated, distribute flyers with Jacob's photo, his hockey jersey, wide grin, and hazel eyes, offering a $1,000 reward, later raised to $100,000 with community donations. The case explodes into national news, covered by CNN, ABC News, and the New York Times, as the abduction of a child in a small town shocks America. Tips flood in. A farmer reports a suspicious car near 91st Avenue. A neighbor hears a scream around 9 p.m. None lead to Jacob. The investigation focuses on the abduction's details. Trevor and Aaron describe the man's voice as low and raspy, possibly disguised, and his clothing as dark, with a nylon mask. The footprint suggests a deliberate act, not a random encounter. The sheriff's office interviews local men, including known offenders, but no suspects emerge. The FBI, led by Agent Al Catron, joins the case. Given the likelihood of interstate kidnapping under the Lindbergh Law, they set up a command center in St. Joseph, analyzing tire tracks near the abduction site, which match a common Goodyear tire but are inconclusive. The Wetterlings appear on America's Most Wanted in November 1989, pleading for Jacob's return, sparking thousands of tips, sightings in Minneapolis, Chicago, even Canada, all dead ends. The absence of physical evidence, no blood, no clothing, no weapon, makes the case challenging, and the rural setting, with few witnesses, complicates leads. In 1990, a breakthrough seems near when police connect Jacob's case to a series of unsolved assaults on boys in nearby Paynesville, 15 miles from St. Joseph. Between 1986 and 1988, 8 boys, ages 10 to 14, were molested by a man matching the abductor's description. Stocky, gravelly voice, wearing a mask. The attacks, involving groping or attempted abductions, occurred near schools or parks, but no one was taken. The sheriff's office investigates local men, including Danny Heinrich, a 26-year-old unemployed handyman from Paynesville with a history of burglary and a 1987 arrest for assaulting a boy, charges dropped for lack of evidence. Heinrich, who matches the suspect's build and owns Goodyear tires, is questioned but denies involvement. A search of his home finds no link to Jacob, and his alibi, staying with his mother, checks out. The Paynesville cases go cold, but the similarities keep Heinrich on the radar. The Wetterlings become national advocates for missing children. Patty, a former math teacher, channels her grief into action, founding the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center, JWRC, in 1990 to support families and educate communities about child safety. She and Jerry appear on Oprah, Good Morning America, and Larry King Live, sharing Jacob's story and pushing for better abduction response protocols. Their advocacy leads to the 1994 Jacob Wetterling Crimes Against Children and Sexually Violent Offender Registration Act, a federal law requiring states to create sex offender registries, a landmark in child protection. The Smarts reward grows to $200,000 by 1995, drawing tips but no breakthroughs. Patty keeps Jacob's room intact, with his hockey stick and Star Wars posters, holding on to hope. The investigation stagnates through the 1990s and 2000s. The sheriff's office pursues leads, sightings of a boy resembling Jacob in Michigan, a tip about a shallow grave near St. Cloud, but none pan out. In 2010, a new sheriff, John Sanner, reopens the case, spurred by advances in DNA technology. Investigators re-examine the Paynesville assaults, noting similarities in the suspect's methods. In 2015, the FBI re-interviews Danny Heinrich, now 52, after matching his DNA to a 1989 Paynesville assault on a 12-year-old boy, Jared Shirel, who was abducted, molested, and released. The DNA, recovered from Jared's clothing, gives probable cause to search Heinrich's home in Annandale, Minnesota. In July 2015, police find child pornography and videos of boys biking in Paynesville, suggesting Heinrich stalked victims. He's arrested on October 28, 2015, for possession of child pornography, facing federal charges. In September 2016, a break comes when Heinrich, as part of a plea deal, confesses to Jacob's murder. He tells prosecutors that on October 22, 1989, he abducted Jacob at gunpoint, drove him to a gravel pit near Paynesville, molested him, and when Jacob tried to escape, shot him with a .38 revolver. Heinrich claims he buried Jacob in a shallow grave, returning in 1990 to move the remains to a second site after noticing the grave was disturbed. On September 1, 2016, he leads authorities to a field in Paynesville, where they recover Jacob's remains, a red hockey jacket, fragments of clothing, and bones confirmed by DNA as Jacob's. The confession shocks St. Joseph, bringing partial closure but no murder charges, as the plea deal grants Heinrich immunity for Jacob's killing in exchange for locating the body. He's sentenced to 20 years for child pornography, eligible for release in 2033, incarcerated at FMC Devons in Massachusetts. The confession, while resolving Jacob's fate, leaves the case proofless in key ways. Heinrich's account is uncorroborated, no gun is found, and his claim of acting alone raises doubts. The Paynesville assaults suggest a pattern, and some investigators believe Heinrich had an accomplice, possibly a friend or family member, who helped dispose of evidence. A 2016 search of Heinrich's mother's home, where he lived in 1989, finds no additional clues. Online, Reddit's r unresolved mysteries and X-posts speculate about a second suspect, citing a 1989 report of a suspicious car with two men near the abduction site. Another theory posits Jacob was targeted by a local pedophile ring, given Paynesville's cluster of assaults, but no evidence supports this. A fringe theory suggests Jacob wandered off and was taken opportunistically, though the ski mask and gun point to premeditation. The Wetterling's advocacy transforms child safety laws. The JWRC, now part of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, trains police and supports families, helping locate over 20 missing children since 1990. Patty becomes a national figure, testifying before Congress and speaking at schools about stranger danger. The case reshapes St. Joseph. Residents install locks, and kids no longer bike alone. The Wetterling Act, updated in 2006 as part of the Adam Walsh Act, mandates public sex offender registries, impacting millions. Media coverage, including 48-hour specials and the 2016 podcast In the Dark, keeps Jacob's story alive, with 15 million downloads by 2025. A 2024 tip about a Paynesville barn prompts a search, but no new evidence is found, per a Minneapolis Star-Tribune report. The emotional toll on the Wetterlings is profound. Patty, now in her 70s, writes Hope in the Dark, 2018, detailing her journey. Jerry, battling heart issues, maintains the JWRC. Amy, Trevor, and Carmen honor Jacob through charity hockey games. The absence of full details, Heinrich's potential accomplices, the exact timeline, keeps the case proofless, a wound that lingers despite justice. That's all for the 20th episode of Proofless. Jacob Wetterling's abduction is a tragedy that changed a nation and a family's fight for hope. If you have information, contact the Stearns County Sheriff's Office or visit jacobwetterling.org. Share your thoughts on our website or social media, and join us next time for another journey into the unknown. Until then, keep searching for answers.